So I've been making these Ghibli themed food container dioramas on TikTok. One of them even had a sweet viral moment. And now the next one is for Arrietty. Not sure why. It's not like people have been mentioning and requesting for it at all, you know? A miniature diorama for a miniature person. I can see how that makes sense. Okay, the idea I had in mind is to make a new dining living room area encased in a tea packaging box of her new place. Because she, left. Hopefully everyone watching this has watched the film, but of course maintaining inspiration styles of her original home into this new room that we're gonna make up. With some Pinterest help and a general color palette established, we can start. For the wood flooring, I used this unused wood strip thing that came with an IKEA tabletop I bought. It had an adhesive side already, so it saved me a ton of gluing time. In a sunglass box I borrowed from my partner, I laid them down in a random and staggered pattern. It's not perfect, but I just wanted to move on so I could show you my miniature furniture line. Made from real popsicle and coffee stir sticks, they could be coming to a store near you, if in high demand for the house pest or something. I didn't really record myself cutting up sticks, but they were cut up and glued together with regular PVA glue. There were these toothpicks around that had these beveled ends, which was perfect for the chair legs. Less work, but for more details, my strained eyes at this tiny scale were thankful. Also, we're not playing around here. All the pieces were properly inspected and approved for safety as well. When it came to painting my new furniture line, I used acrylic paint watered down, some wood browns, pop of green and red inspired by Arrietty's bedroom, and some gold accents as well. Last floor piece is a rug. In hindsight, I should have made a more colorful one, but this natural twine color will have to do this time. I just looped it around on top of tape so that it doesn't move and stays together as one piece. With the foundation complete, it's time for the tea packaging design. Using Adobe Illustrator and the measurements of the box, I began design of each panel. I was contemplating a lot on whether or not I should use the already styled movie title. However, I ended up opting for a new typeface for it because I felt like I had to choose between having it be easily recognizable with the original movie title or something a little more disguised as a tea package, you know? The packaging color I referenced from one of the tins in her room. It was also for tea. The remaining parts of the design were opportunities to have more fun with the food label, like adding instructions on how to make tea by borrowing sugar, the nutritional table as a cast section, details like that. All of the elements were also drawn in Illustrator. Okay, their home had a ton of wallpaper to reference from. They are clearly not minimalist. They had these baseboard tiles in one section that I used floral designs for. The wallpapers, I only did 4 out of the probably 10 plus they had around their home. I printed those out along with postage stamps and music sheet snippets to decorate the walls inside and outside. Seems safe to assume they will have similar decorating styles at the new place. The printed postage stamps and also fruit stickers I added to some of the furniture. There isn't a window on this side of the box, but if we add curtains, it can seem like there is. Which is great because cutting into this sunglass box was not fun. Returning back to the outside, I painted it a muted light yellow to help cover a bad primer spray paint job that accidentally gave it a spackled effect. I think I spray painted it too close. It's not a bad accident, it adds texture. And then finishing it with some dry brushing that ended up being covered with postage stamps anyways. This makes me wonder, where are they getting all of these postage stamps? Ripping it off received mail from the house owner's friends? I feel like I would notice this, but maybe not. At this point, I'm working on details and filling up the place. The bookshelf needed books. I used watercolor paper stacked and tried to draw a thread line to represent it being hand-binded books. Placed them in a bookshelf messily for that lived-in feel. At last, we are finally close to the end with these finishing details. Can you tell what we're missing? It's plants, and lots of them, because Arrietty literally has leaves all over her bedroom floor. I pre-mixed air-dried clay with watercolor to make these colors I needed for the leaves and flowers. Then I rolled them out into leaves and petals. On thin wire wrapped with floral tape, the petals and leaves were added one by one. They were a bit too thick and should have been rolled out a bit more thin, but it's all a learning experience. For the soil in these plant baskets made from twine, I used instant coffee mix. I did stuff it with paper first, and then a layer of glue before putting the coffee soil on top. Placing these in finally felt like everything was coming together. Off camera, I did add in a button that I painted red. I also made a little mirror from a reflective sheet and a wall hanger section for the stovetop area. Sometimes you just get into the zone of work and forget that you need to have a camera recording it. Anyways, I purchased these mini jars that were still too big for the scale and filled it with thyme to represent tea leaves, since it is a tea package. A big reason why I chose to do a tea packaging was because I adored their tea set. Look at those tiny droplets filling up the entire cup. Mine's not made of any real hard metal, but paper instead, that I painted metallic. This set was made with watercolor paper, and they're only a couple millimeters tall. Next up, the kitchen needs a stovetop area. I found a button battery plastic container which cut out had the shape of a pot, painted it the same metallic as the tea set, and added tiny bits of cotton. Let's pretend the chowder is cooking in there. I thought about painting the cotton, but didn't want it to look like it's smoking and on fire. This is a calm kitchen, not your overcooked game. Even though they served Spiller with a different teaware set, I wanted to put the cookies they had. The film also showed other food items, but come on, we're choosing cookies over everything. Tea, cookies, and a pot of something cooking, what more do you need? A terrible focus job, but faintly in the background you can see I added bits of sugar cube. We don't want to disappoint Arrietty's mother. With everything set up, we need a person to live here. To make Arrietty, I purchased these blank people models and filed down the walking pose one. I will admit, making miniature people is not a strength of mine. For the first time, I tried the green army putty to add Arrietty's dress and all. It's alright, it's passable once painted her colors. To finish her up, I added a magnet. One is glued to her feet and the other will live outside of the box, so she can move around the place. At the bottom, I glued on this wood feet area to each corner so that when the magnet is added to the package, it can still sit flush and straight and not be all wobbly. This is the interaction point of the diorama that you can lift and push around the bottom magnet to move Arrietty. Alright, it's final reveal time. Okay, so I wanted this to be a surprise, but I added last minute a little jump scare. On the flip side of the lid, Arrietty's enemy turned friend. The old lady was a bit too creepy in my opinion. These leaves I also ended up adding to help give hiding coverage, and it was a nice reveal element. They were leaves taken from the dollar store Christmas holly decorations that you can see are also placed a part of the plant's decoration in the home. I'd like to think that Spiller passing her these berry-looking things or whatever it was sweet because it reminded her of the ones in her old home. I'll admit, I actually almost forgot to add this piece of paper detail, which is funny because it says, yeah. With the magnet added, Arrietty can be moved all around the place. She's a free spirit, so she's gotta be able to move around. Thankfully, the magnet was strong enough that she could also go over the rug area as well. Anyways, that closes the end of this diorama. Now I just have to figure out which one to do next. There really isn't an order to choosing which diorama comes next. I just pick whatever is commented most. If you made it this far, thanks for watching my first YouTube video.